We are in an energy addition, not a transition. Math is not mathing up to investors or consumers. Billions of dollars wasted. This is an amazing story when you sit back and take a look. The energy global landscape, the narrative of swift transition away from fossil fuels to renewables has dominated the headlines. However, a closer examination of demand trends, investment patterns, and infrastructure realities reveals a different story. We're in an era of energy addition, not transition. Renewables like wind and solar are expanding rapidly, but oil, natural gas, including LNG, on other fossil fuels continue to grow. Hold on to your seats. This one's a big story. Let's start with the first part of this article. It's really trying to go over Texas ERCOT, and we say, wait a minute, the nameplate capacity overpurchase nobody's talking about. Let's talk about this. The Texas ERCOT system is an excellent review of nameplate capacity overpurchase. You sit back and take a look as of approximately 181 gigawatts. Of that, they have thermal, which is natural gas, coal, nuclear, diesel, 87.5 gigawatts, 40 gigawatts of wind, 34.5 gigawatts of solar. Energy storage, 14.7 gigawatts. Hydro, zero point 0.6 gigawatts. Biomass, 0.7 gigawatts. DC ties or imports, 1.2 gigawatts. So you start mathing up what this is. This is what they normally reached. For context, the system's all-time peak in 2025 this year was 83.9 gigawatts in August. So we have 181 gigawatts of nameplate capacity, but we only used 83 gigawatts in a peak format. Forecasted peaks were somewhat higher, about 90.5 gigawatts, but actuals came in lower. So when you look at that, let's match up the investment. ERCOT had 60 billion in wind since 2000. Cumulative capital for solar is 58 billion. Then they had 6.9 billion in total overruns in order to support the getting the power to the grid. So you take a look at that, that's 134.9 billion spent on Texas wind and solar installations. What could you do with that and put in nuclear plants instead? We would be in a different situation we would with ERCOT. But let's match that to the next part of that, and that is oil and gas supply demand. Nobody's talking about the demand. The demand peak oil is not here yet, and the 2024 IEA forecast demand growth about 960,000 barrels per day, revised down to sluggish. But when you sit back and take a look at peak demand, we're not even there yet. Natural gas demand, including LNG, tells a similar story that it is also growing. So you take a look and go, wait a minute, what else is growing? Coal. We just had another one. Electrical generation provides a key lens for comparison. We take a look at how all this plays out. Fossil fuels and global consumption, you take a look in 2023, that's where the latest numbers were on that, was 17,690 terawatt hours. Renewables was 8,700 terawatt hours, and nuclear was only 2,610. Here's where the rub, and that goes back to how much extra of the wind and solar is out there, and then how much has to be put back in. So let's take a look at where the coal is. I even put a coal map in here where all the coal plants are going, and you have megawatt hours, 1,684 megawatt is being produced or in process, plants under construction or approved. Very important around the world. That is a lot. Maximum 221 megawatt hours under construction. This is huge. So when you take a look and sit back and go, wait a minute, we are not in an energy transition. Quit kidding yourself. We are in an energy addition. We are adding energy. So let's quit paying subsidies for wind and solar and say, if you guys can stand on your own, rock on. Let's install all the wind and solar you possibly can, but no subsidies. And I want to say it out loud. This is the quiet part. Quit paying power companies to shut off or not produce and have a total redo of the electrical system, because what we are seeing is what I've said before: microgrids and grids coming in behind the meter are becoming a major consideration on the grid, because then you lose the scalability and the lower cost to consumers when it comes behind the grid. How much gas is going to be, like the data center in Abilene, Texas? How much extra is going to be lost because the demand pull for natural gas and those natural gas turbines is not going to go to the open market? It's going to be contract based.